The Other Shore, Thich Nhat Hanh, Chapter 11, Stars of Consciousness. The 18 realms of phenomena, which are the 6 sense organs, 6 sense objects, 6 consciousnesses, and also not separate self-entities. In the sutras we learn that everything is found within the 18 realms of elements, composed of the 6 sense organs, the 6 sense objects, the 6 sense consciousnesses. This is quite a complete description of the realms of human experience and was an impressive achievement at the time of the Buddha. The 18 realms of elements: eyes, form, sight, eye consciousness, ears, sound, hearing, ear consciousness, nose, smell, olfaction, nose consciousness, tongue, taste, tasting, tongue consciousness, body, touch, touching, somatosensori consciousness, mind, objects of mind, mind consciousness. But thanks to modern science, we know that the universe is not just what we perceive with our 5 senses. We now know that all of our senses are quite limited. A dog's ears help the dog to hear sounds that humans cannot hear. So sounds with frequencies higher or lower than those recognized by human hearing do not lie within the realm of human perception. The same is true of light. There are wavelengths of light that humans are unable to perceive. For species with senses that are more sensitive than ours, the universe may be something much greater, perhaps much more beautiful than anything we can imagine. There are species of animals whose olfactory and auditory senses are far more sensitive than ours. We have only 3 colour receptors in our eyes, but there's a kind of shrimp called a mantis shrimp, which has no less than 16 different colour receptive cones in its eyes. The fabulous spectrum of colours we see in a rainbow comes from just 3 basic colour receptors. Nobody knows what glories would be revealed if we had eyes like a mantis shrimp. Bats have a kind of sonar that allows them to know what is in front of them for up to 3 kilometers in the dark, so they can avoid bumping into things in mid-flight. Even mosquitoes can see the infrared spectrum to find the best place to bite us in the dark. We should not be overconfident about our senses. We have the capacity to wake up the limitations of our senses, so that we are not too proud and dogmatic in our way of relating to the world and all its species. Recently, science has shown us that we have more than 5 senses. The receptor neurons on our skin area, many kinds. Some receptors are only able to sense touch, cold, heat, or pain. Each receptor is limited to its own function. The inner ear has a sense organ called the labyrinth that is able to know the position and orientation of our body in space. And thanks to that sense, we can keep our balance when we are standing, walking, lying, sitting, running, and jumping. Science helps us to recognize the limitations of our sense organs and enlarge our capacity to see and hear and move from place to place. Even though we are not clairvoyant or clairaudient and do not have the power to appear in different places at will, modern science and technology allows us to see and to hear what is happening thousands of kilometers away. We can travel at the speed of sound, be rocketed through space to visit neighbouring planets. Our senses are now extended across the whole of the electromagnetic spectrum, allowing us to see radiant nebulae, only visible in the frequencies of radio waves. The 18 realms are wonderful manifestations. And in this new version of the Heart Sutra, rather than saying that there are no realms of elements from eyes to mind consciousness, we say that the 6 senses, 6 sense organs, 6 sense consciousnesses are not separate self-entities. We tend to see the 6 sense organs as separate from each other, but this is an erroneous perception, a construction of our mind. 2 hands clapping give rise to sound, just as eyes in contact with form give rise to sight. Not one of these realms can exist by itself. Each can only interbe with every other realm. In the 18 realms, there's nothing that is permanent. Eyes are impermanent and always in the process of change. Form is impermanent, always vibrating with the energy of heat, interacting with the environment. Even if we cannot perceive it directly, we also know that in the process of seeing and sensing, our brain is constantly rewiring itself, establishing new neural connections, reinforcing or weakening old ones. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is static. Everything is of an organic nature. Eyes do not see. We normally say the eyes see, the nose smells, the ears hear. And that is natural because that is our usual way of thinking. We think there must be a doer, an actor, in order for action to be possible. So we say the eyes see. To see is the action. And the eyes are the actor, the subject of seeing. There is a subject and a verb. That is the way we are accustomed to thinking. But we easily understand that it's not the eyes that see when eyes and form are in contact. There is sight. Eyes are just one of the conditions that make sight possible. Many other conditions are also necessary, like light, form, time, space, optic nerve, brain, so on. It's not correct to make eyes the subject of the verb to see. Sight arises contemporaneously with eyes and form. As with eyes, the other sense organs, in collaboration with their sense objects and the right conditions, bring about hearing and thinking, etc. So there is thinking as a result of mind and object of mind, but there is no thinker. There is feeling, but the feeling and the one who feels are not separate. No self is the absence of an unchanging, enduring self who stands outside of the action. It is a number of phenomena coming together that make sight, hearing, knowing, touching possible. Biology, physics help us to remove our dualistic view of mind and matter. Psyche and soma, so that we are able to see the reciprocal and interbeing connection between body and mind. Our mental formations like anxiety, anger, fear, sadness, despair are closely related to nerve impulses and neurotransmitters. We see how our body is the continuation of our mind, and our mind is the continuation of our body. Going further, neuroscientists are also now recognizing that our brain is a social brain. Without the environment, without the interaction between mother and baby, without other people, our brain will not become a human brain. Without play and social interaction, our brain and our sense consciousnesses do not develop properly. Our capacity to see, our eye consciousness, only develops through interaction with the environment and the process of exploration. Many scientists still think that our consciousness is subjective, that it rises up from inside us and goes out to be in touch with the objective world. That is a dualistic way of looking. Whenever we look up at the sky and see the moon, the stars and the galaxies, We have to practice to see that these things are independent of consciousness. Everything in the cosmos has consciousness in it. Without consciousness, how can we see and know the sun, the moon, the stars? The stars and the moon are consciousness. Consciousness is the stars and the moon. Looking at the moon and stars, we are seeing our own mind. Looking at the perceived, we see the perceiver. Our sixth sense consciousnesses and the sixth sense objects are not separate self-entities. They do not exist by themselves. Our sense consciousness and the object of our consciousness always arise at the same time. As the branch of philosophy called phenomenology says, consciousness is always consciousness of something. When we see this, we begin to see the unity of all phenomena of the 18 realms, of subject and object, I and form, thinker and thought, stars and consciousness.